Welcome to MassageTherapyRadio.com. I'm Eric Brown, your host, and I have with me David Zulak. Welcome to the show, David.
Well, thank you.
And you are from the Canadian Institute of Manual Therapies,
That's
CIMT. And tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay, I have been teaching assessment in various forms in schools and for CEUs for over about 10 years. But about a year or so ago, we put together a very comprehensive package for people. We were thinking mostly people from out west or in the States who do 1,000-hour training, and we would sort of give them the training that they needed to sort of upgrade their skills. But when we think of Ontario, for example, most people don't need a lot of that information. They already have it, right? So I've moved now more to a more shortened, specialized assessment course for the spine, pelvis, and sacrum.
Okay, so the focus is what we would know as orthopedic assessment. It's basic assessment of musculoskeletal problems.
Right.
And here in Ontario, I guess therapists going through a 2,200-hour program have a lot of solid assessment skills.
Right.
But I guess what the weak link is the spine and pelvis. It
is, and it's almost ironic in the sense of, if you think of, people come to us 9 times out of 10. Somebody walks in my door because they've got a neck problem, they've got headaches, they've got a back problem, and so I deal with the musculature. I learn a lot of that in school. I learn that there are facet joints, right? I know there is a sacrum, and I get some testing about okay, it hurts here, it hurts there. But I actually was there's like another 10% of information that I'm missing to say, okay, well, is this a group dysfunction in the spine, which we call a scoliosis, right? Or is it an individual level, right? Or if the sacrum is dysfunctioning, well, in what way?
Yeah.
Right. So so it's not only like, where does it hurt, right? But why is it hurting? Why is it not functioning? And that was just sort of as I say, about 10% of the information that we need to adequately assess that we never quite got. We almost got there, but we didn't quite get there. So I want to supply that. Yeah. It's actually been, personally, it's a little bit of a mission since I got out. That when I first took a muscle energy course to learn how to manipulate and mobilize the spine and affect the muscle tone at the same time, I thought this is what we should be doing, right? Because how can I actually treat someone's back if I don't know actually what I'm doing with the spine?
Yeah, and as a result, I think most massage therapists, when they're faced with some kind of spinal dysfunction, low back, neck, their first impulse is to send them out to a chiropractor.
That's exactly it. You're giving away your business.
And massage therapists do have the skills. They just, like you say, they need that little bit more just to understand in a more comprehensive way.
Manner.
Thank you.
Plug comprehensive assessment. Yes.
Is the workings of the spine and the pelvis.
That's right. That's right. So I will teach. In terms of I'll certainly add in technique. So as I mentioned before, muscle energy is a very good one because you're mobilizing joints and changing muscle tone. That's holding things out of position at the same time. So it's a nice complementary way to work. But I'll throw in a few other techniques. But on the other hand, as I talk to the students, with the knowledge, if they understand just a little bit more about how the spine functions and how it gets into trouble, they actually have all the skills they need anyway. Even if you wanted to use just straight Swedish massage, right? You could. Okay, this is short. This is tight. This is long. Then you know what to do with it, right?
Yes.
So it's not that they have to be magical bullets or something, which often people are looking for. What's the technique that's going to help me, right? I don't want to teach a technique. I want to teach them how to think of the spine, pelvis, understand what's going wrong, and then they can invent the test, and they could reinvent the technique if they had to. Because once you know where it doesn't want to go, right? And you know where it needs to go. If you understand the mechanics of the spine, you position them a certain way that creates a force in the body to try and like moving the sacrum, for example. If it's twisted one way, it always moves the opposite way to the lumbar spine. So you just turn the lumbar spine the way that will make the sacrum want to go the way it should go, and then you relax the musculature. You gap a joint. It's actually all simple stuff in the end.
So this sounds very practical. In your workshops, you focus on doing differential assessment.
Right.
And we don't want to say differential diagnosis, but differential assessment to figure out exactly what's going on.
Right.
And then you look at the participants, the tools they have available to them in terms of modalities, and look at how to apply that to the particular situation.
If we want to talk about what the assessment is too, it's orthopedic assessment, or it starts there. But where a lot of orthopedic assessment, or the way we're taught, is condition-based. So you learn this test to tell you whether they have this condition or this dysfunction. I've stepped back, and it's a trend that's been happening in other manual therapies like physiotherapy, et cetera, et cetera. But it's coming into massage via outcome-based massage, that text, right? To look at impairments rather. So I don't care even if we have a name for the dysfunction. But if we know this is going wrong here with this muscle, this joint isn't working right here, I got something I can do right away, even though I don't have a name for it, even though I can't say, oh, this is a disc problem, this is this type of joint dysfunction. I still know what I see in front of me. I've looked at it. I've found all of those problems, and then I just start to work on those problems.
Yeah, and then you can develop a systematic approach to addressing that. Now, do you ever get people that say, like massage therapists, that say, we just can't do assessment to the spine? Did you ever get any of that? I'm just curious.
Well, they might do that initially, but the way I try to present the information is for, if I get a chance to talk to them in an informational situation, is that it's almost like, well, I see that I could. I don't know why I thought I couldn't.
Yeah.
It's not that they realize that they don't have to take out 10 big books, right? Drive their themselves crazy, right? All you need is a few simple rules about how things work, and then just apply those, and that's all it is. I often talk about creating a picture of the person, right? I just want to draw them out. What's tight, what's short, what's long, where does it want to go, where does it not want to go.
In principle, it's a very simple approach.
Right.
Now, how about people that don't have that extensive training, like people throughout the States that might have like 1,000 hours training? Right. They don't have that orthopedic background that therapists have here. Can you offer something for them?
Oh, yeah. Then we have a much larger program. In total, it actually ends up being 600 hours. Now, what they get is about 200 hours in course. They would have like 5 days in a row every 2 months.
Yep.
So they end up having about 200 hours a time in class. We would send information ahead of those classes. So I want you to look at this anatomy, look at this stuff, so that our time is efficiently used in the class. And in turn, then I have them do all sorts of things, just like you would at school. Do some case studies, right? Do some readings, whatever. So it all adds up to this time, and it's to provide them that very. Right from the basics up to the end of orthopedic assessment. A few other things that even, maybe go a little bit, you could call osteopathic if you wanted to use the phrase, because that's influenced our professional.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So a lot of those things, and then bring in some of these same ideas of treatment. So it's just simply a bigger package, but most people, as you say, most massage therapists in Ontario, what do we need to do why should I be talking about a draw test on the ankle? They know it. They know what it's for.
Exactly.
So they already have that. So then that's why I say that's what this course for Ontario is much, sort of get rid of what they already know. They know all of this. Let's just start with a little bit of anatomy that we know. Let's talk about how these things work, how do they get out of position, and then what do we need to do to correct that.
Okay, now if people want information about your workshops,
right.
Is it best for them to go to your website?
The website is the best place.
And your website address is?
Well, I'd have to read it for you.
Oh, here, I can do that job. It's www.cimt.biz.
Right.
That's cimt.biz. That's Canadian Institute of Manual Therapies. And you can go to that site if you want more information on the comprehensive orthopedic assessment and treatment of the spine and pelvis course.
And we have a few video clips of these sorts of things, so they can take a look and see. Like they're quite long, like they're 5 minutes or so, and they can take a look at what I'm presenting and what's going on. Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks for meeting with us today, David. You're doing some great work, and appreciate you coming by to massagetherapyradio.com.
Thanks for having me on.